Welcome to the Eskate Fix, brought to you by Esk8 Oz, bringing you all the latest Eskate news, reviews, and interviews. Here's our host and self-proclaimed Eskate addict, the man helping you get your fix, Craig Taylor.
Well, here we are, episode 2. Stoked to be here. And I've got to say, this guy, I met him at Sk8. He's an absolute legend, but we became great mates. He's a mad skater. And I tell you what, there's some stories to tell you about Sk8, but we'll get into those when we get him on. It is Jared French, Acedeck, Canada. Shred the Gnarl. Mate, here he is. I'll bring him straight in. Let's go. Here, we'll just got to find the right damn button, Craig. All right. Jared, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Mate, thanks for joining. Mate, you know that you and I hit it off straight away at Sk8 and great mates immediately. I want to just jump straight into Sk8 because for me, you just were a standout nutter out on the track, mate. You every time you came back in, you had blood dripping from you. You had some sort of scun knuckles, scun hands. Look at this. Still scars, or are these newies?
No, man, they're new.
So, Jared, at Sk8, you went out. I think every qualifying, you literally lost it. You lost it in just about every race, once, twice, or even 3 times. And you came back, and you still finished really high up. Give me a bit of a rundown at Sk8 for you.
It was the most intense thing I've ever done. First time I've raced. When I free ride, I'm engaged and I'm picking my lines and I'm just engaged but when it came to racing against people, and it was a whole different ball game, and so the nerves were quite high. But once I calmed those down, but it was just so intense. Like you said, the same. I mean, we wiped out on the same corner into the same hay bale. And that hay bale and that corner kept calling me out the whole time. There was times when I was behind either the first place or the second place person in the race, and I was drafting them, and I was really close. And then, whoops, there goes that hay bale, and then I'd fall back to 8th or 9th, and then I'd charge back ahead, and I kept doing that. But so this year I'm coming back with a vengeance, man. Like a vengeance.
There's some revenge on that track that's coming back from Jared, mate. I know that you and Drew Elliott were going toe to toe majority of all qualifying and the race itself. Drew was just really composed, I got to say, and I think that's the reason he got you in the end. But I tell you what, there was a couple of times in the races where you were blasting through and you passed him. You were in front of him. You were a couple of corners up at one stage, and then that same corner took you back and he came underneath you again. It was like, I think about 3 laps later, the same thing felt like it happened again. It was like, what is going on? Jared, just stay on the board.
Man, that's like a forever issue of mine. Like, I remember, I've told this story so many times. I was so close to Drew that I could smell his cologne. And I was passing him on the inside, and I like, as you know, like if you touch wheels, it's game over for both people.
Yeah.
So like I said, Drew, I'm on your inside. And I passed him on the inside on a really sketchy, very narrow space. And then I fell, and then he passed me. But I mean, even last night, like, so we race once a week now.
Right.
I rented a hockey rink, and so we get together with some guys. We build a track. The track is different all the time. But last night, I just couldn't keep on my board. I just kept pushing it, falling. So, things like that. If I show you my leg right now, and I wasn't wearing my armor, and anyway.
So what I'm going to do is next time at Sk8, mate, Jared and I, we have to sit in the corner and just a little bit of kumbaya or a little bit of Zen music or something going, just to chill out and just tune it down a bit.
Man, what do they say? They say slow is fast and fast is slow.
Well, right? Yeah, apparently.
Chill out, breathe.
Mate, I got to say, when I was at Sk8, I found a piece of myself that I didn't realize I had, and that was the hunger to try and play hard and win. I'm not a real sort of racing sort of person. I'm not a really highly competitive sort of person, but I do know that I felt a real adrenaline hit when just going out on the track and riding. And I think when we did qualifying, I crashed. I was just blown away at how hungry I was. And then I don't know. I tried to put the track together after I hit the hay bale, not realizing that it was just going to add like an extra 20 seconds to my time. I was like, "You idiot, Craig!" Oh well, there I am. I'm out. Took me nearly 2 months to get that cracked heel sorted out. But anyway, beggars can't be choosers. I had a crack and I had some fun, and I was there. But mate, you were just killing it. And no matter how bad or how much blood was on your jersey, I think your number 19 had blood all over it. Yeah,
right there, man. It's still got the blood on it.
Still got the blood on it. Yeah. Frozen in time, that DNA. But man, it was just awesome. And getting up, going to have breakfast with you and the guys, cruising down to that cafe that we hung out at. It was just really cool to have you there and meet you and spend time. And I think one of the things I've learned from Esk8Con is that no matter where we are in the world, the passion for Eskate just transpires. It's awesome. Now, could I ask, is Shred the Gnarl?
Yeah, so Shred, the Gnarl. So Shred, THEE, Gnarl. Yeah, so either Shred the Gnarl or Shred the Gnarl.
What is? I've never heard the word gnarl before. What is that?
Gnarl?
Yeah, or is it gnarly?
Yeah, gnarly or gnarl. It's like whatever you find that's fast, that's high, that gets your adrenaline pumping. You go out and find that gnarl. Like everybody's got different gnarl, and like Eskate, you can have urban gnarl, you can have off-road gnarl, you can have winter gnarl, summer gnarl.
Down under, we use the word different. Like we say that's really gnarly. We don't actually use the word gnarl. We just go, oh, that's really gnarly. So it's a bit different. So when I know your Insta is like Shred the Gnarl, is that like? And I was always trying to make the connection to it.
Yeah, you just got to go out and find your gnarl, whatever that is.
Awesome. Now, I want to go, Jared. I want to go back into you as a rider. When did you start riding? Where'd you come from? Where'd you hail? Like, obviously you're over in Canada, but I mean, where did it all come about for you?
Yeah, so 9 years or so ago, I got my first board. It was a Carbon Evolve. I had my choice between, back then it was mainly either boosted or Evolve. There was like some other brands like E-Glide, I think, was out there, which was a massive machine. But so I went with one of the first gen Carbon Evolves, and that was a single motor. It was a brick motor. So it wasn't like the motor we see today. It had, I think, 750 watts. Only one wheel was driven. Beautiful deck. Like, I wish I still had that deck. I wish I still had that board. And so only street tires. So no, I didn't have any all-terrain tires on it. And so when I opened that and I rode it for the first time, it was game over for me. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And it was just unreal. The acceleration wasn't as savage, obviously, as what we have today. None of it was as tuned as what we have today. But, man, I just rode that thing everywhere I went. And then I remember even back then, people still look at me like they think I'm from the future when they see me riding these things, right? Because some people just don't know. But back then, I mean, I would get stopped constantly. Like, what is that thing? Like, how are you controlling it and all that? And so, anyway, it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Best thing ever done. I think that Canada's probably. I mean, everyone says that Vancouver is pretty much like Melbourne, blah blah blah. Where same sort of country, same sort of feel about it, and same sort of people, which is kind of interesting. So I know when I ride boards down here, people always look at it and go, "What the hell is he doing?" Or I get the, "Aren't you too old to be riding skateboards?" is the usual one I get down here. So I know what you mean about people riding probably over there is the same thing. Like, what is that man doing? I mean, it is Back to the Future sort of stuff still. Even though I've been around for a long time, and 9 years you've been riding these boards, and yet still people haven't figured out that this is a thing. So I still think there's a lot of people still waking up to the theory or fact that electric vehicles or electric skateboards, scooters, etc., are actually in existence now and are very common. But or not just that, they've evolved from being such a simple, basic thing that does 7 to 8 miles or whatever to friggin' 50 miles at 50 mile an hour. So it changed a lot. Now, mate, on socials and people who don't know you, Shred the Gnarl is obviously where they can find you on Instagram. But what they probably don't know about Jared is Acedeck Canada. Mate, I want to just ask, you love this sport so much that you jumped in. Tell me about how all that came about and what went on, and tell me a bit about the business and what you're willing to share, of course, because there's a lot of stuff you probably can't.
Yeah. So it all started with these people that just constantly ask me, where did you get that? How fast does it go? Do they just want to know more about it? I mean, I take my elevator down from my apartment, and a 55 or 60-year-old woman will walk in and ask me questions and just look at it and be amazed at what it is. And so,
but they're not asking you out, Jared. They're asking you about your board.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wow.
And it just sort of dawned on me that, I mean, I just really want to be part of this industry and part of the growth and just share the love of it.
Yeah.
People are so amazed all the time, when I do these demo rides and they get on it for the first time, and you can just see their eyes light up. And we're not talking about kids. We're talking about, the plus 50-year-old man that walks past me, and I say, hey, step on this thing, like, try this out. And they go, oh no, I'd kill myself. And I say, no, you wouldn't, man. This is made for you. Like, you used to longboard, you used to skateboard, you want to get back into it, or you want to feel that feeling, but you don't want to hurt yourself, man. This has got brakes. This is stable. Like, it'll only go as fast as you tell it to go. And then they get on it, and then they feel it, and then I give them a little bit of juice. I control the remote, and then they feel it, and then I give it to them, and then they're like children. They're like, I can't believe how awesome this is. I can't believe how good this feels. I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, like, there's so many different applications. Like, you can use it to get to work. You can use it for mental health. Get out and ride for 45 minutes after a hard day of work and just zen yourself out. You can use it for the sport. Like, there's so many different things. And then people really start to clue in. It's just, so it all started, my brother and I, we were really thinking about, now is the time to maybe open up a shop. Selling Esk8s and scooters and EUCs and all the things, right?
Yep.
And then it was like, wow, that's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
And then but Acedeck was the first e-skate company I wanted to talk to, because of their product offering, because of how new they were in the game, because of how well they've been received in the industry. And I think back then I was just like, man, I hadn't even ridden one, and I was just like, this just looks so premium, and this is something I want to be a part of. So I reached out to them, and then it took months and months of emails, and it turned out that my brother and I, we sort of thought, well, that's going to be pretty tough for us to open up a shop, especially a brick and mortar shop, with all those upfront costs. And so, but I continued that conversation with Acedeck, and then they were just amazing to deal with. I mean, there was a time where I was chatting with them, and they were asking me about my abilities or my history and what I can bring to the table. And as humble as it was, I have some sales experience and blah blah blah, but like, I'm not a well-funded person at that now or then. And so I gave them my history, and I gave them my ideas, and as humble as they were, and so they wrote me an email saying, basically, you don't really qualify for what we would want to do, but because you're so determined, because we see your passion, we didn't start with much when we first started, and because of those things, we're willing to give you a chance, and we want to partner with you, and we want to help you, and we want to mentor you, and all these things. And Like I almost dropped down to the ground, man. I mean, like it hit me hard.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's
right in
a
the
lot.
field, man. Like I was just like, oh, wow, like, wow, this is my dream, right? Like the industry that I want to be in, and I want to be a part of it. And
Yeah,
so
well, I mean, Acedeck came in swinging pretty hard, and you know, they weren't mucking around when they came into the industry, and they've been swinging hard ever since. I mean, every time there's a new board comes out, it's just, you know, premium quality, really well put together. You know, yeah, I mean, everyone's going to say, oh yeah, but I had this problem, or I've had that problem, or that potentially that problem. And I think what they've done though is they've connected with people like yourself who want to build a business and a brand of your own in your own area, your own country, basically, because you look after Acedeck for all of Canada, from what I know.
Yeah.
And basically they've said, well, you're going to be our guy on the ground. You're going to be our boots on the ground to do all the work and make sure everything's working. So if there's any problems, you're local, you can fix it. There's no issues at all, and it's good to go. So I think having someone who's knowledgeable on the boards and the sport per se, as you are, they actually have aligned themselves with someone better on that front rather than the business. And I mean, in saying that, mate, I see you all over socials. You're just killing it. You're going to just about every market that I know that. I never knew Canada had markets like every other day, but apparently they do. And Shred the Gnarl's been telling me all about it. So it's awesome. It's awesome. But I mean, you're really present. And I think someone who's so committed to the industry like you are, you bring so much to Eskate in Canada, not just for Acedeck, but for the community of Eskating. And I think, mate, I'll take my hat off to you. It's what you're doing is just epic over there. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on so quickly and get you on chit-chatting with you, because mate, I'll take my hat off to you. I've known you for less than a year, and I'd have to say meeting you was a highlight, and seeing what you're doing for the Eskate community. You know, I love this stuff, and I'm trying to find my way. I'm by any stretch, I'm not wealthy at all, and I keep spending more money and crap on studio stuff so I can do this stuff, so I can help spread the Gnarl from Australia. How's that? I used your own back. Mate, I want to get onto the market thing. If anybody's in Canada and you want to know more about Eskate, I mean, where are you not?
Well, I mean, I try and be as many places as I can.
Mate, you seem to have that truck of yours, the big white. I think is it a Ford Explorer or is it?
No, it's a 4Runner.
4Runner, Toyota 4Runner. And
do you call them 4Runners in Australia?
We don't have the exact one, but we have a Hilux, which is a twin cab ute utility. It's 2 cab and then a utility on the back. So we don't. I think we have the Klugers here, which is similar to your 4Runner. They just make us pay more for them.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Yeah,
they're good. They're bulletproof. But mate, you've decked that out. You've sign riding. You're traveling all the time with a trailer and stuff on the back with boards galore. You've always got stock, which is awesome. Local stock in Canada. I mean, what more can you ask for in the community? Seriously, man, it's awesome.
I mean, it's just there's a million and one things that I feel like I can do or that I should be doing, and it's just trying to prioritize which ones are going to impact the most, right?
Yep.
The number one thing is, first of all, right now, I believe the industry is not even quite ground level, right? I think it's still in the basement, and I think we're 2, 3, 4 years away from being in the ground level where the timing is going to be right. And I mean, we're seeing more and more companies come along, and that's great. We're seeing more and more events come along, and we're seeing more and more new people join the community. But I think the number one thing is just exposing how amazing it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's really weird, Jared. And I'm going to ask you, I mean, there are certain boards out there that people buy. They have problems with them. I mean, my thing is if you want to enjoy something, don't buy the cheapest, because it's only going to last you, neck minute, it's out the door and it's gone.
Sure.
And with that goes your sport with it. And if you do try this, I mean, you go to a market, try one of your boards, someone's going to jump in and be there on that board for the next 20 minutes, half an hour, probably not want to leave because they're having so much fun. But when they buy a board, Acedeck have, the Stellar series, which are really, really nicely affordable boards, but then they right through to the NYX Z1, which is just a weapon and a beast.
Just a beast, yeah.
It's not cheap, but at the same time, it's so much value for money for range and speed and all the rest of it. So they really have got a really broad brush of what's available out there for you to try. And I think some of these people that go into these cheap $200 boards or $300 boards that are poor quality, they destroy the reputation, but they also destroy the rider, because that person's going, oh, this industry sucks. I'm out of here. I'm not going to do this again. I'll go and try something else.
Yeah.
And I think good brands will last forever, but you're right. The community is still really new. I mean, you've been doing it for 9 years. I've been in this now for 3 or 4 or something, probably 4. Others have been in like JW and some of the other ones, JD and Caddy. They've been skating for, long periods like you have, or longer. And those guys are still there doing it. But the next generation is the next generation that's going to bring it through. I mean, Jimmy from I think he's San Diego, Drew himself, obviously Scott and I are down here. The community people need to keep pushing, because without a lot of us doing what we're doing, and even people like Mo from Stooge, I mean, man, he's still developing new boards and he's still out there. He's doing what he's doing to help grow, and we all have to do more. Bring it back to you. I've got to ask, and it's a loaded one. This one, which Acedeck board is your favorite?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because I know at Sk8 you were riding one and you flipped and you changed to another one to race with.
Yeah. So I qualified on the Aries, right?
Yep.
And I mean, I hadn't ridden the track, and so you just got to learn the track. Every week we build a different track too, and so the first few laps, I mean, I'm just the shits. So that's a really hard question. So the brand new Aries is beautiful. It's a work of art. The carbon fiber it's just a work of art. I mean, the Nomad, because I think it's 1.5 inches shorter. It's a little bit whippier, and you can get it around corners a little bit better. And the concave feels amazing under the feet. If I was to choose one board, though, I mean, it would have to be the Z1, the NYX, and that's strictly because, I have bindings on mine right now, but that's what I raced in Esk8 without bindings.
Without.
Yeah, I mean, without bindings, you have the ability, as you do with all of these boards, you have enough real estate on the board to move your front foot, a couple inches to the left, a couple inches to the right, depending on what you need, where you're needing to corner, and you can really shift your weight around.
Yeah.
So the Z1 without bindings, it's a wicked awesome, street carver. Obviously, it's more than capable off-road. I don't spend a whole pile of time off-road. I'm going to try and spend more time off-road, but just because it can do anything. You put bindings on it, then you can hop curbs. You can, I launched it off a 3.5-foot rock this summer, and it took a couple times to land it.
Where was the video footage of that, Jared?
Oh man, it's there. It's follow my socials, man. It's there.
Where do we find that? Shred the Gnarl, isn't it?
Yeah, Shred the Gnarl, and then Acedeck Boards Canada and Acedeck Canada on Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. I'm going to go back and obviously check that out and try and find that, because I think I might have missed that one, and it's unusual.
There's a couple of really good still shots too, because I shot it on the 360 camera. So obviously you can choose your angles and
a little bit later.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think it would be the Z1, just because to me, coming from a snowboard nation, it's the same thing as like a big powder board. I mean, you can float over anything, you can climb anything. The power is savage,
absolutely.
The option for bindings or no bindings. I mean,
so got to bring him back to another question. How do you find the market of e-skating in Canada? Considering you got such a big skiing, snowboarding sort of community over there, how have they sort of taken the NYX sort of board, that off-roading process or thoughts? Because I know that there's a lot of people buying Nomads over there from what I've seen as well. So
Yeah.
how's the community adopted? Do they want to go fast, or are they more into that off-road stuff, or are they just all of the above? Like, where are they at?
I definitely think that they gravitate more to all-terrain in
Mm-hmm.
general. The way, you know, I mean, it'll make you a better rider. Like, let's get this straight from day one. If you surf, if you snowboard, if you longboard, if you wake surf, if you kite surf, any of those things, start e-skating, because it's just a massive cross-training benefit. You're using the same muscles. Physically, it's going to make you a better rider no matter what you do.
Yep.
But everybody's looking for the carve. I mean,
Yeah.
it all started with surfing. Surfing is the source, right? And then we got skateboarding, and then we got snowboarding, and then now we got wake surfing, and we got kiteboarding. All this stuff, we're all just looking for the same thing. We're looking for the carve. We're looking for that feeling. And
can't agree more.
Like, this has it in spades. Like, regardless of whatever board you want to buy, Eskate is endless carve and no bullshit. You don't have to deal with kick pushing. You don't have to deal with bombing a hill and not having brakes. You don't have to pay for a lift ticket, that's $130 and drive 2 hours to get to the ski hill. You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have to buy
I must admit, mate. Jared, I'm the same, mate. I literally sometimes I just go, you know what? I need 5, and I just chuck on the helmet, and I just turn on the remote, grab a board, walk out the garage, and away I go. And I end up saying I'm going to be back in 5-10 minutes. Just need a few minutes, and I end up coming back 40 minutes later, and it's like, where were you? Oh, I just needed a bit more. But it is instant. You don't have to. You're right. You don't have to chuck all your crap in the car, travel an hour to find a beach to go for a surf at. You don't have to get changed into your wetsuit or anything else, or your steamer. You don't have to, as you say. I mean, in Australia, we travel 8 hours to go to the bottom of the mountain. To get to the bottom of the mountain, then we travel up the mountain, then we buy lift tickets, and then you think, well, hang on a minute, I've just taken out a second mortgage to pay for this weekend away. Where you can buy a board and be 3 minutes after you walk out the door, you can be zooming down the road and carving like a lunatic if you want to. It's just that easy. Or you can find a field, and the NYX, you can just go and play in a field for an hour and turn a couple of grass lumps into jumps if you want to. It's that way. It lends itself to all that, and you're so spot on. I love it.
The whole world is your oyster. I mean, like, they're not cheap things. Like you said, you can buy a cheap one, and then that'll be a cheap product. But even if you buy the most expensive board you can buy, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna use it because it's so addictive. Like, people are saying to me, "Yeah, this feels good. I just don't know, if I use it all the time." Trust me, you're gonna come home and you're gonna ride it, and then you're gonna put it in the corner, and it's gonna be staring at you, and it's gonna be saying, "Come and ride me again. Come and ride me again." And it's like, oh my god, okay, fine, let's go for a ride.
And then the third, fourth, fifth time you'll be looking at it and going, I wonder if I can get more range. I wonder if I can get more speed.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's it then, and I mean, yes, everybody out there, I used to be part of E-Cruise, and yes, they looked after Acedeck as well, but I tell you what, and the reason being, and I was a pro, and I'm still pro Acedeck, great boards, great range, great speed, great everything. You can be a beginner on them, or you can be an advanced rider. It doesn't matter. It's got everything in between, and even people like Scott Davies and Drew Elliott taking second place on the Aries, in I shouldn't say it again, second place. It's great boards. Now, your community. I mean, mate, when I first met you at Eskate, you said you had a bit of a community, but you wanted to build it. How's that going?
Yeah, really good. So it's a process, right? Like, it's just about getting out there and getting new people on the boards, and then getting them stoked about meeting other people that are on boards. Like I said, we've been racing every week, and when I say racing, it sounds more extreme. It's not. I mean, we're not racing against each other. We're racing against ourselves. Like, we only do time laps. And so there's some beginners that come out, and it's just like, hey, man, like, just try and beat your last lap. And then when you come across a corner, try and negotiate that corner. Then so more and more people are coming out. And then I've met so many friends. Like, I've always been kind of a loner. So I have a few select friends, but But now, it's like, oh, hey man, like, good to see, like, how are you feeling this week? What are we going to do that's better than next week? And, there's some tips and tricks, and there's some things that we can do. And, I mean, the community is awesome for the racing, or for, those types of events. But then we just have, like, more, not
community-based gatherings, I suppose. Yeah.
We had 80 people come down on a bus from the city of Edmonton. That's the next biggest city in our province. They came down. We rented out a hall. We had a big pizza party. We had 3 group rides. We came back. We charged. So they came down on a big bus, and then we had a bunch of giveaways. Like, we had a whole bunch of sponsored, products and things that we gave away. And
nice.
Every once in a while we'll go out and we'll buy 50 cheeseburgers from McDonald's. And there's a lot of homeless people here. So I live downtown, and we go and buy 50 cheeseburgers, and we ride around and we just chuck cheeseburgers at people. Here, have a cheeseburger, have a cheeseburger. And it's a process, but it's a warming. It does warm your heart. Like when you meet new people and you see people's stoke.
Yeah.
All about the stoke.
So it is, no, and it's nice that I mean, we talk about mental health a bit during the e-skating communities and stuff, because we all find our little bit of zen skating, and we talk about it all the time. But there is people out there that are struggling, and doing something like that on your boards is just adds you doing something good while you're feeling good about it makes for a better experience for you guys, but also you're doing something amazing for the community. And those people will actually be grateful for a little bit of food every now and again, because I know that homelessness is getting worse around the world because price of living is going up. So, mate, congrats to you and the crew over there for doing something so good. So it's nice.
We eat some cheeseburgers too. Like, I mean, we eat some of those cheeseburgers.
Oh, don't worry. Down here, if you eat too many cheeseburgers down here from McDonald's, they give you a sticker to put in your car. You become a club member. All right. So we've spoken about a lot of stuff. Eskate 24, you'll be there for sure. I can count on you to catch up for a coffee. I'm definitely going to be there, as long as the wife doesn't turn the go sticker off or the go light off. I'm still hooked in. So we're definitely going. You're definitely racing.
Definitely.
What do you think's going to be a choice to race now the Nomad is out and all the rest of it? Do you think you'll be on a Nomad, or do you think you'll stick with the NYX, or just going to wait and see what the track does?
I'll be on a Nomad. I'll be on a Nomad. I'll be on conceivably something that's not readily available just yet. It will be a Nomad. I mean, I would like to think that maybe I have a little bit of something up my sleeve.
Secret weapon? Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
you never know. Acedeck, I know Acedeck tried to get the Nomad to Eskate 24.
Yeah.
23, and didn't make it. Made it late, unfortunately, as with quite a few other people's boards. But I'm sure that they'll be well and truly sorted out with you prior. So who knows what's coming from Acedeck then? That's exciting.
I plan on podium. I'm gonna be on a podium. Like me and Drew, like, I'm coming for him. I'm coming for everybody. I'm putting down the gauntlet right now. Like, I am stoked.
Drew, look out! Jared's got your mark, mate. He's coming. The 2 Aries riders. Well, it'll be interesting to see whether Drew's on an Aries next year or an Acedeck, or what he's up to for next year. I mean, who knows? There's still, I think there's still over 200 days to go. Not many, but mate, I'm counting, as you're probably well aware. I suppose I'm gonna just quickly pivot to something else. Jared, when you're riding, I mean, when you're out in the community as you are, I mean, you're so wound up in the business and stuff now. Are you still finding time to ride yourself and enjoy, or are you always filming for those snippets for everything, or do you get that? I mean, but with me and YouTubing, I find that I've got to make a ride alone or separate every now and again to get myself centered again. Are you the same?
Man, It's so crazy that you say that, because the other night, I don't get out to ride by myself much. And then when I do, I'm still like, okay, I should have some cards on me, because as soon as somebody looks at me or engages me, it's guerrilla marketing for me. Like, I stop my board, I turn around, I say, hey, how you guys doing? Like, I saw you check out the board. Like, here, have a card. Like, I do demo nights every night. And so, but the other night I went out and I purposely didn't take any cards. I purposely didn't engage anybody. They may have looked at my board. They may have seen me go past them at 40 kilometers an hour. But I purposely just did not engage them. I had my music blasting on my backpack. It was just me time. And that's where it all started, right? And
absolutely.
So it's important to do that. I get wound up, man. Like I said, there's 1,000,001 things that I feel like I should be doing, and
it's funny. It's funny. I actually I was sitting on Canva the other day, and I was trying to think of things I could do with t-shirts and stuff. Or you're always thinking, right? Because I don't stop. I'm pretty mental that way. I just keep playing. And I was actually thinking of a logo that said time to unplug, and it was literally a plug coming out of a skateboard, electric skateboard. It's time to unplug, and I think it's really relevant, right? It's because you're fully tuned into work. I mean, not just e-skating, but your work and your absolute whatever's off, and that time to have you time. And I ask it because I know that I get wound up doing podcasting, editing videos, trying to set up the digital world a little bit better for myself, and all the other stuff that I do find, all right, today I've got to do exactly what you did. Turn everything off. Don't bring anything. Leave the camera at home. Just go for a ride, and just find that moment to just carve and find the flow and just cruise for a little while.
That's where we all started. I mean, that's what we love. That's what we fell in love with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's important.
Jared, is there anything you would want to talk about? I mean, mate, I'm curious a bit more about this racing on hockey ring. Are we talking about a hard ring, not a nice ring, of course? We're talking about a hard, normal, like a roller skating type skating ring?
Yeah, it's an outdoor hockey rink that in the wintertime gets flooded with ice, flooded with water, and then frozen. And so, so we're in September now. So we got all of September, and then probably most of October before they flood that, and then it freezes over. So, what we do is we go and we lay out cones, and we just lay them out as we see fit. And so every week it's completely different. This last week, I think we've done it 5 times, and so I'm not bragging, but every 5, the last 5 times I've had the fastest lap. But yesterday, I couldn't even stay on my board. For whatever reason,
was there someone pushing you along a little bit that was a little closer to you that you thought just amped up the adrenaline a little bit, and that was what was bringing it undone, or what?
No, I mean I know the reason, which I'll share with you next time. There might have been somebody watching me that made me a little bit nervous, but so I just couldn't stay on my board, and I kept falling, and all these guys that I ride with all the time, they just thought it was the best. They just thought it was hilarious, and they were like, well, your day's come, blah blah blah, and so I'm glad you're falling. Basically, they just love to see me fall. Yeah, man. I mean, there's the mental health. There's the casual, having a coffee on your board and just enjoying the sun and all that stuff. And then there's the sport. I truly believe this is going to be in the X Games within a 10-year window. I mean,
I agree. I honestly think the whole racing environment is so underrepresented at the moment. I mean, the Stooge guys are killing it, and they're well known, but they're well known in our community, not outside. And I think, when's that transition going to become, okay, this is a real sport? Don't know what that looks like, but I think the more people who push it, like yourself in Canada, Scott and myself, and you know, we're lucky down here in Australia. We've got Liam from Radiant Performance, who has just bought out the Mac 1. You know, it's a beautiful machine. So we're lucky down here. We've got some makers, but we don't have the racing. I mean, we've got Electric Racing League down here that started over in Western Australia. It's making some transitions. So, you know, they're talking about moving it around Australia a bit. Hopefully I can get them on the podcast soon to talk to them about it, because I think, you know, it's something that I want to know more about. But the racing has got a bridge into that mainstream eventually, hopefully. I mean, wow, what is it going to take?
I almost got to plug you in. I almost got to plug my phone in. But, you know what it takes? I'm going to be very candid here right now.
Yep. Give it to me, Jared.
It takes action. I mean, regardless of whether we're talking about racing or just general awareness of the sport, it takes action. There's a lot of people. I mean, most people that are in our industry or community, we take action. You take action. Scott takes action. All these people that we know take action.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people that sit in front of their computer and comment on people's action.
Yep.
And they comment on what they think that we should be doing or what we shouldn't be doing and this and that, but yet they are only spectators.
Yeah.
So it takes people to get stoked. It takes, you know, like,
yeah, you're right.
Do something. I mean,
yep.
I've run into a lot of blockages on, say, social media when it comes to, you know, e-skate groups, and they don't want, you know, advertising, right? Like, and I get that, but
yeah,
I'll tell you, when I go to a city and I want to tell people, hey, if you want to come try a board, I'm doing a demo, come try it.
Yep.
Now, me as an e-skater, I would be upset if the group that I belong to, say on Facebook, didn't allow that post to occur.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Oh, wait a minute. Like, you know, any of the e-skate companies, Evolve, LaCroix, you know, any of them, they came to my city and they were holding a demo event and I wasn't aware of it and I couldn't participate. I'd be bummed. I'd be like,
yeah, absolutely.
This is why I'm part of this group. Like, I want to know.
Yep.
But a lot of these groups, it's almost like surfers in the 50s. They didn't want the sport to grow because they wanted the waves for themselves.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. That may be a little bit of a controversial thing, but I've run into some blockages like that where people are like, you know.
Jared, you're spot on. And I'll, you know, the whole namesake of this, Eskate Oz in Australia. Eskate Oz was founded, a Facebook page was founded by me because I couldn't share YouTube videos. I couldn't share the YouTubers who do e-skating around the world that I liked anywhere. If I shared something, a lot of the pages would shut me down saying, you can't put that here. We don't allow that. And it's like, okay, no worries. I got my own page. And now it's growing. I've got 600, well, Eskate Oz has got 600 odd followers. It's not a big page for Australia. It's probably big. Or big-ish. There's a couple with massive groups like 3,000 or 4,000 here. But again, some of them don't allow you to post up there. If you've got a demo and you're representing a product, for me, I don't care. If you're a YouTuber, you want to put stuff on Eskate Oz, go right ahead. Become a member, chuck your stuff on there. I'm stoked. I want it. I want stuff on there.
You're taking a tour now. Sorry to interrupt you. I gotta plug my phone in or else it's gonna die.
That's all right, mate. I want that stuff.
I also want to tell you is that I'm gonna unplug my phone, my mic.
That's okay, mate.
And I just gotta plug in. But can you still hear me?
I still can, mate, perfectly.
Okay. You always call people legends.
Yep.
You always say good day, legends, blah blah. Yep. I want to call you a legend, bro.
Oh, mate, thank you.
You're a legend. You're the legend. Like, you know, I just think, like when you said, like when we first met, I first met you and Scott on like, what was it? Right by the Golden Nugget. What's that area? Sorry, I'm drawing.
Oh, that Fremont area.
Yeah, Fremont, right? And so I had just got there, and I was walking around, skating around, and I was like, oh my God, that's Scott Davies and Craig Taylor. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, like I gotta say hi to these guys, right? Like I've never met you, and I've only seen you on YouTube, and I was just like, I
Oh
was
man,
starstruck, man. I mean, so you're the
man,
legend.
thank you, but it's really, I think that's what Esk8 was all about for me especially, and I know Scott's talked about it as well. The people we know digitally, seeing everybody face to face was just next level, mate. And in all honesty, Jared, you straight up, g'day, how you going? I was like, wow, I like this guy, cool. He's unobstructed. Let's go. I like this guy. Let's hang out. Let's have a beer and let's talk crap. It was
Yeah.
just like that. And I think I thank you for that. But at the reality of it is, I call everyone legends because you know I love what people do in this community, and I think my life is better for this community. My life is better for the people that I get to meet in it, and I think it's richer. I mean, my life with my wife and kids and everything is rich anyway, but I get to enrich my sport and my hobby with people who are like-minded, and I think that's for me that's a massive thing, and I appreciate everybody in the community. But with the pages and stuff, mate, Eskate Oz and the pages should be more accommodating. We're only going to grow the sport by being accommodating. If someone wants to share a YouTube video they made, hell, help them share that video. Let the sport grow. If they're going to go and do a market thing with a board at a thing, and it's Canadian, a Calgary, for example, or Vancouver Eastgate group, and you got a page, and someone's coming down there to bring boards for demos. Don't hesitate, don't block it. Get down there and try the boards out. You might find something you like. I mean,
Yeah.
get involved, grow the community. Don't obstruct. Open the floodgates. Let us grow. And I want more of that. And I think we should all encourage more of that. And anyway, there's a lot of negativity or nepotism on the socials at time to time, and I hate that crap. I love what we do, and I love what you're doing, mate. And I'm proud to be part of it. Even though it's a little part, I'm proud to be part of it. But it's good, mate. Jarrett, we're getting up to 50 minutes. I don't want to hold you up because I know you got a life and it's late there where you are. It's past lunchtime here where I am. Anything else you want to share? Finish up with any comments you want to make? Anything you need? I mean, Acedeck boards in Canada.ca in Canada. If you want an Acedeck or you want to get in touch with Jared or on the socials, Insta, Facebook, whatever, reach out to the man. He is Mr. Acedeck in Canada, and he's proud to be it, and I'm proud of him. But Jared, last words for you, big fella, and then we'll wrap it up and let you get out of here and get back to life.
Well, first off, it's not coffee I'm drinking, so it's red wine I'm drinking, so I'm good to keep chatting. No, man. I mean, I just appreciate you having me on here, and my life is like you just said. I mean, I'm a better person because of Eskate. I come home and I'm happier, I'm more centered, and I'm more balanced because I have the ability to go out and express myself on a board. And so all of the business things aside, and all of the marketing and the social media aside, we're all just riders, right? And we just want to ride. And like I said before, we're all looking for that carve, and I just want to share that with people because I genuinely see the joy in people's face when they ride a board for the first time. And man, it doesn't matter if you're riding an Acedeck. I mean, yes, I represent Acedeck, but I've also had several other brands of boards which have all treated me well. And go out and ride. That's all I'm saying. Go out, get on a board, feel it, ride it, and be part of it.
And I suppose I come back to something I said earlier too, and it's something that's probably I should go back over. If you don't have $1 million and you want to buy a board and you can only afford a cheap board, go and buy that cheap board. There's plenty of riders out there I've spoken to over the years that have bought that cheap board and then they've kept it. The battery might have died or things may have gone wrong, but they resurrected it a little bit later and gone again. And then when they have got money, they've been able to buy something better. But get riding, because you're right. And I correct myself from the comment I made earlier. Riding is where it's at. The stoke is where it's at. The carve's where it's at. It's and sometimes you can't afford $1 million. So hey, ride what you can. and get out there and ride.
And a lot of times, the people that buy the cheap board and ride the hell out of it and get awesome at riding a cheap board, their skills are amazing once they get onto something half decent. Like we raced with a guy who has a banged up board, and he amazes us, and it's like, holy hell, try this, man. Like you got skill, you got talent, try this. And then he's like, no, man, I just want to ride this. And
I must admit, Jared, and probably just going back a bit of history, I think it was Eskate Con 22. One of the guys who won one of the divisions was on a old, I think they had some race tape on it and everything. It was an old boosted board. And watching that footage back, he was absolutely flying. So, look, and Booster are a great board. A lot of history there. But I'm pretty sure that it probably wasn't in its best shape, but he was flying. So you're probably spot on with that comment too. Some of those old boards or the cheaper boards that don't quite hold together or don't quite feel as clean as some of the more modern boards. Those riders are definitely going to be a step up. That's for sure, mate. I think that's it. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to wrap this up. It's been awesome, mate. I appreciate it. Obviously, in time we'll get you back on. I appreciate. Thank you so much, mate. All the way from Canada. And please get on the socials. Support Jared at Shred the Gnarl and Acedeckboardscanada.ca, as in the screen here. Look after him. Make sure he's doing what he's doing. If you want to meet him, get out there to your markets and stuff, because he always seems to be around. Follow him on the socials and you'll know where he's at. Plus, Eskate Con 2024. Watch this space. I'm gonna ping Drew on this and see Drew Elliott and see how he feels. It's gonna be great. We're gonna start this Jared versus Drew war. No, I'm kidding. We're all mates. It's gonna be great fun. But you two, combative on the track is gonna be great to watch at the next Eskate Con. So I'm gonna push it to the boys there, and they're gonna love this rivalry, the pseudo rivalry between two mates.
I can't wait, man. Thank you for having me. You're a legend. I can't wait to see you and have a beer with you. And
absolutely, mate. It's too long between drinks for the two of us, and I can't wait to catch up again too, mate. So thank you. Until next time, stay upright, keep smiling.
Yeah, man. Ride hard. Ride safe.
That's it.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you got your fix. All the details and links will be in the show notes, and remember to subscribe so you never miss a thing. Be sure to leave a like and a review, as it's always a huge help. Please follow Esk8 Oz on your socials and give our host a follow as well. Until next time, stay upright and keep smiling.
Dude, I
That's
drank
it.